Dennis here at Capel Training and Shoeing, and I've got a young horse here that belongs to a real good client that I've had for years, and they've been working with this horse since they raised it and done all the work since it was born up until now, and actually been riding it, but they were saying that there had been a few holes creep up that they wanted a little assistance with. So the horse just came in here now, and he's still nickering. He's pretty insecure about being in this surroundings. He's in unfamiliar territory. So I'm going to just start in with him, and help him to get a little more comfortable. When I raised that flag up there, he was tight about the flag moving, and it took him a little while. You see, he's got that left ear cocked down on me right now, and he's paying way more attention to this flag than he needs to. So that's telling me that if I was to be on him at this moment, I would be in harm's way, even though he might not be doing anything detrimental. His attention to that flag right now is an indication. And then he went out there and hit the end of that rope harder than he should have, just to get away from it. So I'm going to send him out here again. When they grab themselves like that and hump that back up, and all I'm doing is moving the flag around here a little bit, he's not ready. He's not ready to ride, so I'm getting him. I'm not chasing him with this flag. He's pulling me. So I'm gonna pull a little harder there. When them back feet yielded there, then he put slack in, but he was pretty sure that all he had to do was get a hold of that halter and run off, and and he was just going to have his way with me there. So that I've just brought that energy up. See, I'm not going around and around and around on purpose. I'm doing a few steps to see where he's at, and I'm making an adjustment as I'm seeing it needs to happen. And he's just overly started out overly cautious. I know that's not the first time he's ever seen a flag. He shouldn't be that bothered by it. So I'm just going to desensitize him to the flag a little bit with his feet moving. Desensitizing to one when their feet are moving is way more effective than desensitizing them to a standstill. See, he just wants to look at it and then flee in his body. So I'm not doing anything more here than blocking off his avenues of fleeing. I'll let him sit there a minute, be okay. I'm waiting for his head to come down, wait for him to take a deep breath, wait for him to accept what's going on here. What I've done is taken away his ability to control the situation with a fleeing attitude. I'm gonna let him live there. If he gets in there and he says I'm gonna flee, I'm gonna put him to work at it. When he's out like this, I'll let him stand there all day if I need to let this become a far better choice. Now I can move this flag and it doesn't produce this look out of him. So that's what there it came again. That head cocked a little bit, that ear went down just because I moved that flag over here. I'm going to ask him to move his back feet away. He went further than he needed to. I'm going to ask him to move his back feet away from me just a little bit. When I say back feet away from me, I want the left hind to step up in front of the right hind, up towards that right front. just sit there. So the balance between the heightened energy that I gave him and the absence of that heightened energy, I'm just waiting here. He thinks he can move his head, dance around out there and get ready to flee. I'm not going to let him flee. I'm going to let him sit right there. Now I'm going to ask him to move and come in towards me. Let him sit there. I think he's ready to put the saddle on now. And when I first started with him, he wasn't by any means. He was just wanting to get away from any kind of movement. So I'm gonna bring this pad around here to the side. Just set it up there like he's been an old ranch horse, been saddled every day of his life. Coming around there and trying to sniff on it is an avoidance. So the fact that he's loose and I can let that hind end move around there, you know, allowed me to be able to get that saddle on. If he'd been tied up, he'd went over against the fence and then he'd come run over me coming back. So I'll let this down, let him. Just adjusting the cinch here right now to make sure it's going to be close to the center of his body when I tighten it up. So this time that I'm spending here adjusting my equipment is giving him an opportunity to stand there quiet. I think it's real important that even for me, the first saddling, to make sure that I've got my saddle in the middle of the pad and I've got that pad pulled up in the gullet of the saddle off of his back there, off his wither, so he doesn't get in a bind with the pad pinching him. I'll just tighten this just enough right there and latch it to where if he does move, the saddle's got a real good chance of staying on top of him. Okay, now what they told me they had noticed is that he would get a little bothered by the stirrups moving around on him when he got to moving. So, no big deal, just what horses do. Send him on out of here. That might be the first time he's ever had a back cinch on. That's why I always use the back cinch, because you don't have to have a back cinch on to keep the saddle on, but if you train one with only a front cinch, and then maybe the next person that comes along going to ride him uses a back cinch and that horse isn't used to it, that's what they're going to step into. But actually that was no big deal for him there to go through that. I'm going to get that flag again because his focus is back on that saddle. It's not on me. And he's fleeing from that saddle. Now he's fleeing from the bag, so I'll just block him off. Move his withers away there, move his shoulders. Move his shoulders away right there. When he gets to bucking, I'll just put him to work here. Stayed flat, so I softened up. Get him stopped here, and he didn't stop. My yes means yes, my no means no. And when I offer him a subtle suggestion, I know that this horse knows that when you come from behind, you should go forward. When you come in front of that shoulder, he should stop. I know he knows it, but he's just looking and rolling on. So I'm just being, I'm setting boundaries that are a little more clear. The reason I stepped in there that time and put a little energy up is I asked him to turn, and he just wanted to swing his hind end away rather than bring his front end through. There he did it again. So I'll step up there and move those shoulders. I don't want him to get in the habit, even here at this stage, of loading up on that front end, planting it, and moving his back end. See, that was a nice turn right there. So I'm gonna step right up in here a little closer to him and get this flag up here. Let him hear that saddle just a little bit. And I'm tapping on that saddle, moving this flag around. Just desensitize him while his feet are moving. There he moved his hind end and got quiet. So I'll let him be. When I say moved his hind end, he quit bracing behind and pulling on me. Right here, he's braced and he's pulling on me. So I'll just step up there toward that stirrup, get that hind end, put a little more. He didn't quite turn loose yet, so he's still pulling on me. All his energy is going out through his right shoulder. There. When that hind end stepped off, then there became slack in the lead rope, something for him to handle, something for him to feel a release, what I meant. I'm going to move his front end away from me here. I'm going to take this lead rope now while he's stepping away. Handling that pretty well. Very nice. Now just step forward. I'm going to just pet him with this flag while we're walking along here. much better. I'm gonna let him sit. I don't like that he grabbed himself just because he saw that flag right there, so I'm gonna reassure him that it's all right, not there to hurt him.